But first, we're continuing our in-depth series on workers wanted in the Kansas City area. Last night, we heard from business owners who say no one is applying. Well, tonight, we hear from the workers and the concerns they have.
Not being able to afford, babysitters and having to kind of do it by family or friends.
Are they observing, COVID practices? Or are they being socially distant?
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Dia Wall.
And I'm KNUTE. We're glad you're watching here on air or on your favorite streaming device. Getting back to work is a complex issue right now, as we've been hearing from many of you, as employers and employees are trying to rebound from this pandemic.
So tonight, 41 Action News reporter Nick Starling sat down with those who are looking for work to talk about how the job landscape has changed since the pandemic began.
My whole life went from normal to a total 360. In a matter of a week.
Malcolm Jordan had his dream job, being a chef at a restaurant, but he was laid off at the start of the pandemic, now trying to make do for him and his daughter.
Not being able to afford, babysitters and having to kind of do it by family or friends.
Now he's looking for a job, but has certain qualifications before starting.
Work environment that's actually COVID friendly to where I don't have to worry about coming to work and potentially end up contracting COVID.
Jordan is one of thousands of people who are looking to work.
It's a whole different group of questions that people are asking. They're being much more deliberate.
Clyde McQueen is the CEO of the Full Employment Council in Kansas City and sees a change in how job seekers approach finding a job.
They are looking at alternative occupations other than the ones with which they were laid off.
McQueen points out for some, the pandemic changed people's priorities.
They're wanting to make sure that they have resources to meet their needs because their credit isn't what it used to be. They want to look at new opportunities while they still can with the cash checks coming in.
That includes higher wages.
Despite what may be, quote unquote, the minimum wage, employers are realizing if they're going to get the right people that they need, that they're going to have to pay a livable wage.
McQueen also tells me one of the biggest questions being asked of an employer is whether or not they offer insurance as part of their benefits package in order to work there.
So Nick, what jobs are most in demand right now besides restaurants?
Kansas City is a major transportation hub. Businesses are looking for drivers. There's also demand for tech jobs like cybersecurity, as many of us are using computers to do our jobs and for school. Also another big one, healthcare, as we deal with this during this pandemic and post-pandemic.
Thank you, Nick, for that context tonight.